Hey world, Jonathan here. In this video I'm going to be talking about a variety of subjects ranging from credit card fraud to sleep paralysis and panic attacks, my content in general, where I'm at in life, and just everything. I just need to talk. Starting with, I know that the content I've produced over the last month or so isn't something that you as my audience are even remotely interested in watching. I know that. And I know that sometimes it seems like I don't always have your best interest in mind when I make decisions in life. Going to America to live there definitely seems like one of those decisions that just came from the heart and not from the head. I didn't think it through at all, and I ended up having a horrible experience and going home. You might be able to see that even though I am home in Denmark, I am not home in my apartment because I planned on traveling to California for 3 months, and thus I rented out my apartment. I'm actually crashing my mom's house at the ripe age of 21 as an adult male. But yeah, it's kind of ironic because this video isn't actually what my viewers signed up for either. I mean, I get it. So most people just saw a funny video and they subscribed. They wanted another funny video. And here I am just talking into the camera. But I feel that emotionally, I need to clear the air with my audience and explain this whole experience. And I'll start with the concise information that's actually relevant to the average viewer of this video. Most likely you, that I'm talking to you right now. Content and shit. I think a lot of the negativity I've experienced over the last couple of years of my life stem from one thing. And that is that I've been trapped in this routine of making League of Legends videos. Now, when you've built an audience around and a career around making League of Legends videos for 4 or 5 years, then obviously you have an audience who are engaged with League of Legends videos, and I get that. But I'm entirely certain that it's psychologically detrimental to me personally to continue to make League of Legends videos in the way that I am. Because I feel that I'm both financially tied and emotionally tied to this routine of being forced to make them, if that makes sense. So from now on, every second gaming video I make won't be a League of Legends video. Just get that out of the way. I hope a lot of you are still willing to watch my videos, even though they aren't League. But I feel that I think I'm going to be a lot happier and just be a lot more functional. And I think I'm going to be a lot more creative too if I just try to diversify myself a bit. So I'm going to stick to that. That's the next thing I'm trying. I went to America and it ended up being like a shit-ass time. Now, I've always had a pretty distorted view of America. I think the first couple times I traveled there, I had insanely positive experiences. The people I traveled to went out of their way to give me the America experience. As you see from some of my older videos, we shoot dildos with shotguns. I've skydived, jumped from a helicopter into a lake, shit like that. But this time around was very different. So me being 21 years old, and I've always felt that the grass is greener. I've just been itching to move out of Denmark, this little small country, and just try to experience the rest of the world. Because from my perspective, the rest of the world has always seemed better. Never been appreciative of what I have here. I've always taken everything for granted. And so I booked a flight for 3 months and an apartment for 3 months in Los Angeles, California. And I think you can actually see on the last video that I uploaded, Danish Tourist Visits Los Angeles, that I was entirely unprepared. I didn't have any plan at all. I was on a travel permission and not a work visa, which means I wasn't allowed to do any form of contract work or employment, which means that my original plan where I was going to get a sponsor to give me a computer in exchange for, some promotion, that didn't work. I was stuck in a country where I couldn't create content. The videos I make, the people I spend my time with, and just the general things that fulfill me socially and emotionally, I traveled away from all those things. I took away all the things that make me happy as a human being without really thinking about it. I went away from my girlfriend, my friends, my family, everything that ties me down, everything that grounds me and fulfills me, I took that away from myself to go live in a city that's super expensive. I couldn't rent a car. I'm under 25 as a tourist in America. It's fucking insane. That's actual insanity. The amount of insurance and fees you'll have to pay for that. So I had to take Uber to get everywhere. I just had to fill my day out. And for each day that passed in LA, I became more and more lonely, more and more disconnected with the world around me. I felt more and more isolated. Every time I went to bed alone and every time I woke up, I just felt a little emptier. And I know it sounds almost like a goddamn mockery of real mental illness, because I was in a place I chose to travel to for less than 2 weeks. I've never been prone to anxiety or depression in any capacity. If anything, stress is the only, real thing I need to watch out for. I'm very susceptible to stress, but I've never been anxious, never experienced any high form of angst. That's not really me psychologically. But I had a very, very uncomfortable experience in America, which was the catalyst for me actually going home. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that I was experiencing a lot of loneliness while I was down there. And also the fact that my whole time there, I met up with one person who actually took me out and did something, gave me a real social experience. Got to meet his roommates and shit. That was really cool. But other than that, I just felt worse and worse. And I don't think subconsciously I'd accepted that I was even in this new place in the world, away from all the things I love that make me the person I am, I didn't feel safe or comfortable at all. I would go to bed in this place that didn't feel like home at all. And I think that contributed to the night where everything just went wrong. I woke up in the middle of my bed, or sort of woke up. I woke up into what's known as sleep paralysis. I didn't exactly know what sleep paralysis was at the time. I'd heard of it before. But I woke up sort of drenched in sweat, and I wasn't able to move my body at all. It's like I was awake, but I was still dreaming, right? And I couldn't move a muscle, and this fucking panic instinct just came up in me, and I started being more and more scared, because, I could see the goddamn nightmare around me, but I couldn't do anything. Now, I was able to discern reality from my dream, obviously. But it was still a very scary experience, because the more scared I got, the less I felt I was able to breathe. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I'd never had this experience before. It was both psychologically and physically painful. And so when I finally snap out of it, it's completely dark in my room, by the way. The first thing I do is stand up from my bed. And I'm in a state of complete panic at this time. I don't actually remember where I am in the world or what's going on around me. The only thing that's clear in my head is the very painful experience I just had. And so my first instinct is to move away from the bed. The bed was behind me. And I end up running to the other side of the room and smashing into the window, breaking the window of the apartment I'm renting. And glass from the window shatters all over the floor. I end up stepping on a lot of the glass shards that just edge their way into my feet and my heels especially. And it's really painful. And so as I'm trying to circumvent the pain in my feet, I end up grabbing onto the nearest thing near me to kind of alleviate the weight from my feet. And I end up knocking over the whole counter with the television, just like struggling and crawling around. I guess this is what people refer to as a panic attack. When I got to a light switch and got the light turned on, my Airbnb looked like fucking Syria, man. Like, there was just liquid on the floor, glass everywhere. I was bleeding out of my feet. I was all alone in this place in the world, and I was like, fuck, man. I just miss home. I just miss my friends. I just miss my girlfriend. I just miss, the life. It's like I took my own life away by traveling there, if that makes sense. And this is actually another part of the story I forgot to mention, was I was experiencing credit card fraud throughout, ever since 3rd of January, actually. It sounds funny in retrospect because it sounds kind of like a meme, but somehow, someone, somewhere was able to consistently charge my credit card 59,000 Indonesian rupiah, which is about $4, right? So it's not like a lot of money, but someone still had access to my credit card and was able to charge money on my credit card. And I wasn't able to just cancel my credit card because I was very reliant on my credit card to function in my day-to-day life when I was in America. You know, if I canceled my credit card, how the hell was I gonna eat food and do anything, right? So that probably also contributed to my stress down there. The fact that I wasn't able to create anything. You know, I am a YouTuber, and it's my job, even though most people don't consider this a real job. It's my job to be creative and to create things. And this creative fulfillment that I feel like I have, I took that away from me as well. I took away everything that makes me feel like I'm developing myself as a human being and put myself in a position where I was just degrading. I just felt like shit. And that's when I decided, you know, I'm just going to go home. I got to go home to Denmark. I don't have travel insurance. I don't have health insurance here. God knows that fixing the apartment is nothing compared to the what it would cost me to call an ambulance and get myself to the hospital and get them to cut all this glass out of my feet. Went home to Denmark. A couple days later, now I've been to the hospital. They've cut the glass out of my feet. I went to jiu-jitsu training again. Still go to the gym. Go to my girlfriend's birthday in, like 10 days. And go live with her for a bit. So I'm definitely bounced back stronger than yesterday. And I don't know, I feel like I've actually learned something from the experience, if nothing else. I should be appreciative of what I have, you know. The streets aren't paved with gold in America. It's not perfection. I think I'm going to be pretty happy with my content choices. I think it's genuinely going to be good for me to make 50-50 on league content, non-league content. That's out of my gaming content, right? Hopefully I can also squeeze some other stuff in there. But I'm going to do my best to just get videos out and just be happy and shit. That's been my failed America trip. If you're going to travel, nothing wrong with a little bit of planning. I could definitely use a bit of discipline when it comes to making decisions in life. But I hope you enjoyed my story nonetheless. Thanks for watching, and peace. Have a nice day.